This is a Gray, Seer, Reiki Master, and your soul guide. Tonight we will be talking about the laws of the universe. For centuries, ancient wisdom, traditions, philosophers, and now even quantum physicists have pointed to a set of fundamental laws that govern everything in existence, from the rotation of galaxies to the thoughts in your mind. Understanding these laws isn't just philosophical, it is profoundly practical. It is a difference between swimming against the current and allowing the current to carry you to your dreams. We will start first with the first law, the law of mentalism. So, what exactly is a law of mentalism? Its core principle is this: the all is mind, the universe is mental. Let's break that down. This law states that the entire universe, everything you can see, touch, and experience, originates from a single universal infinite consciousness. Think of it this way: it is the ultimate source, the divine mind, or the field of all possibilities. Now, here's the most crucial part: you are an individual point of awareness within this universal mind. Your thoughts are not just random electrical impulses in your brain, they are powerful, creative forces. Your mind is a localized expression of the universal mind. Therefore, the reality you experience is quite literally a mental projection. Your outer world, your health, your finances, your relationships is a mirror reflecting your inner world of dominant thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Your reality is a printout of your subconscious programming. Let's make this practical. Let's look at some examples. Imagine someone who consistently thinks money is hard to come by. I am bad with saving. Or rich people are corrupt. Or money does not grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. So these thoughts, repeated often enough, become a core belief. Their mind, which shapes their reality, will then filter for evidence to support this. They will overlook opportunities, make impulsive purchases, and ultimately manifest a life of financial struggle. The external reality of no money perfectly mirrors the internal belief of I cannot have money. Another example would be someone who holds a deep-seated belief that they are not worthy of love, will subconsciously sabotage their relationships. They might become overly needy, push people away, or attract partners who confirm their unworthiness. Therefore, their outer world of dysfunctional relationships is a perfect correspondence to their inner world of low self-worth. Now, the placebo effect is a powerful scientific demonstration of the law of mentalism. In clinical trials, patients given a sugar pill, but told it is a powerful medicine, often experience real measurable healing. Their body responds not to the chemical substance, but to the thought and belief that they are being healed. Their mind creates a physiological reality. So, how do we move from being a victim of our random thoughts to a conscious creator with this law? The answer is by going on what I call a mental diet. Just as you would be careful about what food you put into your body, you must become fiercely vigilant about what thoughts you allow to occupy your mind. This is your first practical application. So I need you to practice these 3 steps. Witness your thoughts. Throughout the day, pause and just observe your mental chatter without any judgment. Do not try to stop it. Just become aware of it. Are your thoughts predominantly fearful, critical, or lacking? Or are they hopeful, grateful, or abundant? You cannot change what you are not aware of. Second, when you catch a thought that does not serve the reality you want to create, challenge it. For example, if you think, I'll never get that promotion, stop and ask, is that absolutely true? Or is this just an old, fearful story? Then consciously replace it with a new empowering thoughts, such as, I am capable and worthy of success. I am open to new opportunities. It is safe for me to receive. We all have a default emotional state, an underlying feeling that runs in the background. Your mission is to make yours one of gratitude and abundance. You can start simple. Every morning, before you even get out of bed, name 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. Feel the feeling of gratitude. This sets a high vibrational tone for your entire day. And by the law of mentalism, your reality must mirror that tone. Remember, the law of mentalism means you are not a passive observer in your life. You are the architect. The blueprints are your thoughts. If you want to change the building, meaning your external reality, you must first change the blueprints. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. This work is the deepest work you will ever do, and it is the foundation for mastering all the other laws. Remember, your mind is the master weaver, both of your inner world and your outer reality. Choose your threads wisely. Now, you have learned that your thoughts are the primary cause and your reality is the effect. You might be asking, how? How do my internal thoughts and feelings actually translate into my external circumstances? What is the mechanism that connects the invisible world of my mind to the visible world of my life? So the answer is found in the second universal law. It is a bridge between cause and effect. The principle that shows us the undeniable link between the microcosm of our inner world and the macrocosm of our outer experience. This is the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence is captured in one of the most ancient and powerful axioms. As above, so below. As within, so without. Let's demystify this. As above, so below refers to the cosmic scale. The patterns we see in the universe, the harmonious orbits of planets, the fractal patterns in a snowflake, the cycle of galaxies are reflected in the patterns of our own lives and even our biology. Your DNA is a micro universe corresponding to the macro universe. But for our purpose of conscious creation, the most powerful part is this. As within, so without. This means that the conditions, patterns, and energy you hold within yourself, your beliefs, your self-image, your emotional state will be mirrored precisely in your external environment without. Think of yourself as a holographic projection. Every piece of a hologram contains the image of the whole. In the same way, your outer world is a holographic projection of your inner world. The chaos, harmony, scarcity, or abundance you see out there is a perfect reflection of the chaos, harmony, scarcity, or abundance you hold in there. This law invites you to become a pattern detective in your own life. So let's look at some clues. Have you ever noticed that when you are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and scattered internally, your physical space becomes messy? Your desk piles up, your house gets cluttered, your schedule becomes chaotic. This is as within, so without. The external clutter is a direct correspondence to your internal mental and emotional clutter. Conversely, when you take the time to clean and organize your external space, you often feel a sense of eternal calm and order. The law works in both directions. If someone constantly finds themselves in dramatic, chaotic relationships or surrounded by energy vampires, the law of correspondence asks, where does this same drama live within me? It might be an internal pattern of self-sabotage, a hidden belief that love is painful, or a habit of high drama internal dialogue, probably catastrophizing or constant worrying. The external drama is simply matching the internal one. By the way, your financial reality is one of the clearest mirrors. If you have a deep seated feeling of unworthiness or a subconscious identity as someone who struggles, that internal frequency will manifest as late payments, unexpected bills, or a career that feels stagnant. Your bank statement is a metaphysical report card on your internal state of abundance. How do we use this law proactively? We use what I call the mirror method. Instead of reacting to your outer world with frustration, you learn to respond to it as a feedback mechanism. Your life becomes your greatest teacher. Here's your practical 3 steps here. First, identify the outer reflection. Choose one area of your life that is not how you desire it to be. It could be your health, a specific relationship, or your work. Describe the pattern you see. Don't just list events. Identify the theme. The pattern in my career is that I am always overlooked for promotion, for example. Step 2, look inward with honesty. This is the crucial part. Ask yourself, if my outer world is a perfect mirror, what must I be believing or feeling on the inside to create this reflection? You gotta be the detective. Example of an outer pattern, I'm always overlooked, for example. Ask yourself, do I believe I am not valuable enough? Am I afraid of the responsibility that comes with promotion? Do I secretly feel I don't deserve more success? Then change the reflection by changing the source. You cannot change your reflection by scrubbing the mirror. You have to change yourself. Now that you have identified the likely internal correspondence, you can apply the work from Law 1. If the internal belief is I am not valuable, your work is to cultivate self-worth. Your action is to use affirmations like my contributions are valuable and recognized. Your action is to consciously acknowledge your own achievements each and every day. And as you change the internal source, the external reflection must, by law, change to match it. The law of correspondence is your key to decoding your reality. It removes the illusion of being a victim to external forces and hands you the ultimate power, the understanding that you can change your life by changing your inner world. Your outer world is not an enemy to be fought. It is a friend giving you incredibly accurate feedback. Your job is to listen. Remember, your life is not happening to you, it is happening from you. Now, since you have understood that the universe is mental, and you have learned to see the perfect correspondence between your inner and outer worlds, now we move from the map to the engine. We go from understanding the what and the why to the how. How does a thought in the quiet of your mind become a person, an event, or a circumstance in your life? What is the actual substance of creation? The answer lies in the fundamental nature of the universe itself. Nothing is solid. Everything is energy. And you are a master conductor of this energy. This is the law of vibration. The law of vibration states a simple yet universe-altering truth. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. From the chair you're sitting on to the stars in the sky, every single thing is made of energy. And that energy is in a constant state of motion, vibrating at a specific frequency. A rock has a slow, dense vibration. A beautiful piece of music has a higher, more complex vibration. And your thoughts and feelings, they are among the most powerful vibrational frequencies in existence. Think of the universe as a vast cosmic symphony. Every emotion, every thought, every object is playing its own note. And this symphony operates on one fundamental rule: like attracts like. This means that a specific vibration will attract and resonate with energies that are on a similar frequency. You are not attracting what you want, you are attracting what you are. Your dominant, habitual vibration is your magnetic signature in the universe. Joy attracts more experiences to feel joyful about. Gratitude attracts more blessings to be grateful for. And worry attracts more situations to worry about. This is physics. So let's make this tangible. You have experienced this law your entire life. You know someone who just walks into a room and lights it up. Their energy is contagious. They seem to have all the luck. This is not magic. They are entering a high frequency vibration of optimism and love, and the universe is simply matching it, bringing them high vibration experience and people. Another example: you stub your toe, let's say. That is a low vibration event, right? You get angry, a low vibrational emotion. This puts you on a low frequency channel. Then you spill your coffee. You get a frustrating email, and everything seems to go wrong. You are not unlucky or jinxed. You have simply turned your radio dial to the bad day station, and the universe is just playing the hits for that frequency. Let's say you are manifesting a parking spot. This is a classic. When you relax, trusting, and feeling as if the perfect spot is already there for you, you often find it effortlessly. But when you are frantic, stressed, and vibrating lack, you circle the block endlessly. Your vibration of ease or stress is what orchestrates the outcome. So, how do you take control of your vibrational output? You become conscious of your emotional tuner and learn to change the station. You can't think your way to a new vibration. You have to feel your way there. Here is your 3-step process for a vibrational shift. 1. Name your current frequency. Throughout your day, check in with yourself and ask, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? Be honest. Is it anxiety, contentment, irritation, joy? You must name it to claim it. You cannot change a station you do not know you are listening to. 2nd, choose a deliberate feeling. You cannot jump from despair to bliss in one step. It is too big a leap. Instead, find a bridge feeling. If you're feeling angry, you cannot force joy, but maybe you can access appreciation. If you are anxious, you cannot force peace, but maybe you can find curiosity. So from anger, move to appreciation. With that, think of one thing you appreciate. From anxiety, move to curiosity. For example, I wonder how this will resolve, by asking a question. From overwhelm, move to prioritization and ask, what is the one next step? 1. And 3rd step is take a vibration raising action. Emotions are energy in motion. To change the emotion, you just move the energy. Your body is your most powerful tool. If you need to raise your vibe, put on a song you love and dance. Go for a walk. Take deep, powerful breaths. Listen to an inspiring podcast, like mine, on YouTube or Spotify. This is like cranking the dial on your tuner. If you need to calm your vibe, sit in silence. Practice slow, deep breathing. Spend time in nature. This is like fine-tuning to a calmer, more stable frequency. The law of vibration is the mechanics of magic. It is the how behind the what. By mastering your emotional state, you can take direct control over your magnetic signature and dictate what you draw into your life. Your feelings are your feedback. They are your guide, telling you exactly what you are in the process of creating. Remember, you are not a passive radio receiver. You are the broadcaster. With your hand on the dial, choose your frequency wisely. So far, you have learned that your mind projects reality, your life mirrors your inner world, and you attract what you vibrate. This is profound, powerful knowledge. But what happens when life hands you the very opposite of what you have been trying to create? What do you do with failure, loss, or pain? In our pursuit of light, we are meant to just ignore the darkness. The fourth law answers this with breathtaking elegance and power. It does not ask you to avoid the negative, it teaches you how to use it. This is the law of polarity, and it holds the secret to true emotional and spiritual freedom. The law of polarity states everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. But here is the most powerful part that most people miss. Opposites are identical in nature, only different in degree. Think of a thermometer. Hot and cold are not two separate things. They are just different positions on the same scale of temperature. They are both temperature. Light and the dark are the same thing, as I always say. They are both degrees of light. Darkness is simply the absence of light. Love and fear, are they opposite? No. Think deeper. What is hatred but intense, focused energy towards someone? And what is love but intense, focused energy towards someone? The energy is the same. The intention is different. Apathy, the total lack of energy, is a true opposite of both. This is not philosophy. This is a practical tool for transformation. So imagine an entrepreneur whose first business fails. They can sit on the pole of despair, focusing on the loss and shame. Or they can use the law of polarity and slide the scale. They can look at the same event and ask, what is the opposite pole of this failure? The answer is wisdom, experience, and resilience. The failure itself contains all the data needed for future success. The event is neutral. The pole you choose to focus on determines your reality. For example, you feel a surge of anger. At its negative pole, it is destructive and chaotic. But what is the positive pole of that same intense energy? It is passionate conviction. It is the fuel to set a boundary, to fight for a cause, to say no more. The energy is identical. The law of polarity gives you the power to transmute the chaotic energy of anger into the focused power of righteous action. We often see grief as the enemy. But what is the positive pole of profound grief? It is profound love. You cannot grieve someone you did not love deeply. The pain is a measure of that love. By acknowledging this, you do not erase the pain, but you honor it. You do not see it as a punishment, but a testament to the beauty of what was. This shifts the entire experience. The practical application of this law is a mental technique. I call the polarity reframe. It is the art of finding the hidden gift in any challenge. Here are your 3 steps process. First, identify that negative pole. When you are faced with a challenging situation or emotion, first name it clearly. Do not resist it. Acknowledge it. I am feeling overwhelmed. This situation is a failure. I am experiencing financial lack. Step two, ask the question, because this is the key that unlocks the transformation. Ask yourself, if this is one end of the scale, what is the opposite pole? What is the hidden gift or the lesson here? If it's overwhelm, the opposite pole is prioritization and delegation. The gift is the clarity on what truly matters. If it's failure, the opposite pole is data for success. The gift is the lesson. If it's lack, the opposite pole is appreciation for simplicity and creativity. The gift is the motivation to innovate and value what you have. And the third and last step is slide the scale. Once you have identified the positive pole, your focus is no longer on the problem, but on the solution that was hidden within it all along. Your energy shifts from being stuck at one end to moving towards the other. Your action moves from wallowing in overwhelm to creating a prioritized to-do list. Your action moves from mourning a failure to analyzing the lessons and drafting a new plan. Your action moves from fearing lack to expressing deep gratitude for current assets and brainstorming new income streams. The law of polarity is the ultimate tool for resilience and empowerment. It means you are never a victim of your circumstances. You are always the alchemist with the power to transmute lead into gold, fear into fuel, and endings into beginnings. Remember, there is no prison of circumstance that does not have a key hidden somewhere within its walls. The law of polarity is your locksmith. Now, you understand that the energy you emit shapes your world. But even with all this power, have you noticed that life isn't a straight line up? Some days you feel on top of the world, and other days it feels like everything is falling apart. You might wonder, am I doing something wrong? Did I lose my alignment? What if I told you that this back and forth isn't a sign of failure, but a sign of a perfectly functioning universe? That you are not broken, but simply dancing to a timeless, universal rhythm. This is the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm states everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. This is the law of cycles. It is the pulse of the universe. Look at nature. Day always turns into night. Summer always gives way to winter. The tide always recedes, only to return. Look at your own body. Your breath cycles in and out. Your heart beats in a rhythm. Your energy levels wax and wane. Your emotional and spiritual life is no different. You have seasons. There are times of incredible growth, expansion, and joy, the high tides of your life. And there are times of contraction, rest, and introspection, the low tides. The critical insight of this law is that this rhythm is neutral. The low tide is not bad. It is a necessary phase of rest, consolidation, and preparation for the next wave of growth. The winter is not the enemy of the summer. It is essential partner. Our suffering doesn't come from the low tides themselves, but from our resistance to them. For example, let's say an artist is bursting with ideas and produces a masterpiece. This is the high tide. Then they hit a period of creative drought where no ideas come. If they resist this, they fall into despair, thinking they have lost their talent. But if they understand the law of the rhythm, they know this is a low tide. They use this time to rest, refill their well, study new techniques, and wait with trust for the next creative wave to arrive. The low tide is part of the process. Another example, let's say a business has a record breaking quarter, high tide, then a slow season hits, low tide. The entrepreneur who resists this rhythm panics, makes fear based decisions, and burns out. The one who understands it uses the slow season to optimize systems, train staff, and plan for the next surge. They do not fight the cycle, they work with it. Another example, after a period of profound spiritual connection and light, many people experience a period of doubt, emptiness, and distance from the divine. This can feel like a failure, but in truth, it is a spiritual low tide. A crucial phase where the insights from the peak state are integrated into the depth of your being, making your foundation unshakable. Mastering this law is not about controlling the rhythm, but about learning to surrender and dance with it. Here's a 3-step process for this. The step 1 is to observe and to name the tide. The moment you feel a shift, a dip in the mood, a loss of motivation, a period of challenge, pause. Instead of reacting with panic, simply name it. Say to yourself, oh, this is a low tide. This is the rhythm. This too shall pass. Or when you're on a high, this is a high tide. I will fully enjoy and appreciate this energy. This simple act of naming separates you from the cycle and places you as the conscious observer of it. Step 2, this is the practical magic here. You have to align your actions with the cycle. And how do you do that? In a high tide, this is your season for action, expansion, and socializing. Launching the project, take risks, network, and put yourself out there. Ride the wave as far as it will go. In a low tide, this is your season for rest, reflection, and integration. Pull back, journal, nurture yourself, review your plans, let go of what is not working. Don't try to force a harvest in the dead of winter. Plant internal seeds instead. And step 3, anchor. Beneath the rising and falling tides of your emotions and circumstances, there is a part of you that is unchanging, calm, and still. This is your true self, the neutral observer. Practice accessing this part through daily meditation or breathwork. From this anchored place, you can watch the high tides and low tides come and go without being swept away by them. You are the stable seed, not the turbulent waves. The law of rhythm is your invitation to profound peace. It releases you from the exhausting struggle to be up all the time. It teaches you that you are always exactly where you need to be in the cycle of your own evolution. Remember, you cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. The rhythm is not an enemy. It is your dance partner for all of eternity. Now ask yourself, if I have all this power, then why does my reality sometimes feel so random? Why do things happen that seem completely out of my control? The answer brings absolute clarity to the nature of your power. It is the law that ties all the previous laws together into a system of perfect impersonal justice and creation. This is the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is elegantly simple, yet indefinitely profound. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Nothing in this universe happens by chance or accident. There is no such thing as luck or coincidence in the ultimate scheme of things. Every action, every thought, every word is a cause set in motion, and it must produce a corresponding effect. This is the principle of karma. It is the universe's ultimate accounting system. But please understand this. It is not a system of punishment and reward. It is a system of perfect consequence and learning. Think of it like farming. You cannot plant a seed of corn and hope for a watermelon. correct? You cannot plant neglect and hope for a harvest of abundance. The effect is always congruent with the cause. And with the earlier laws in mind, we now understand the most powerful cause is not our physical action, but our mental and emotional vibration. Your thoughts is the primary cause. Your reality is the ultimate effect. Let's dissolve the illusion of randomness and see this law in action. For example, we see someone get lucky and become an overnight sensation. But the law of cause and effects asks, what were the causes? The decade of unseen practice, the relentless belief, the failed attempts that provided crucial data, and the consistent vibration of dedication. The overnight success was the effect. The years of disciplined cause created it. I'm going to give you another example. Someone who constantly vibrates with complaints about their job, their health, their relationship. They are planting seeds of dissatisfaction. Therefore, the universe, as a perfect mirror, must then deliver more circumstances to complain about. They are confused by the bad luck, not seeing that their complaining is the active cause of their reality. I'm going to give you another example of the ripple effect of kindness. You perform a small, unseen act of kindness for a stranger. This is a cause. The immediate effect might be their smile, but the ripple continues. They go home and are more patient with their family. Their family member then has a better day. The energy you put out continues to expand, eventually finding its way back to you in a form you may not even recognize. The cause was your kindness. The effect is a slightly more harmonious world for you to live in. Mastering this law means moving from being a passive recipient of effects to being a conscious initiator of causes. You become the deliberate gardener of your life. Now, here are your 3-step process for conscious causation. Step 1, trace the effect back to the cause. When you are faced with an undesirable effect in your life, be it a debt, be it a failed relationship, or a poor health, stop blaming external circumstances. Instead, ask yourself with radical honesty, what causes did I set in motion, perhaps unknowingly, that led to this effect? You have to trace it back. The effect is the debt, let's say. The possible cause is a mindset of scarcity, probably, or impulsive spending, or undercharging for your services, probably a belief that money is the root of all evil. Once you trace that, you move to step 2. Before you speak, before you act, and most importantly, as you monitor your thoughts, ask, what will the effect of this cause be? What will the seed grow into? This one moment of pause is the birthplace of your new reality. Instead of the cause of complaining about your job, choose the cause of updating your resume or visualizing your ideal career. Instead of the cause of worrying about your health, choose the cause of taking a walk or preparing a healthy meal. And the 3rd step here, you have to plant the seeds for your desired future. Your desired life is an effect. Work backward. If the effect is a loving relationship, what are the causes? The causes are embodying love, being vulnerable, setting healthy boundaries, being consistent, and believing you are worthy of love. Start planting those seeds right now. If the effect, is financial abundance, the causes are thoughts and actions of abundance, gratitude, and the smart value creation. The law of cause and effect is the ultimate declaration of your personal power. It says you are truly and completely at cause in your life. There is no one to blame, but there is everything to create. This law can feel heavy, but it is the weight of empowerment. It means you are never a victim. You are a creator. Remember, you are the gardener of your destiny. You are planting today what you will harvest tomorrow. So plant wisely. Now, the one law that you can always, without a doubt, count on is the law of change. From the moment you were born to this very second, as you watch this video, change is the only constant. Your cells are regenerating, your thoughts are shifting, the planets are in motion. To resist a change is to resist life itself. This law doesn't just describe change, it teaches us how to flow with it, embrace it, and ultimately use it as the most powerful force for our evolution. The law of change states a simple, undeniable truth. Everything in the universe is in a constant state of flux and transformation. Nothing remains static. This law is a dynamic expression of the law of rhythm. But where rhythm shows us the pattern, change is the engine that drives it. It is the reason seasons turn, businesses pivot, and relationships evolve. It is the force between personal growth and spiritual awakening, and the death of old habits. Change is not a disruptive event that happens to you. It is the very fabric of existence you are woven into. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus said it perfectly. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. You are that river, and you are that man. You are constantly changing, and so is everything around you. The suffering comes not from the change, but from our own attachment to the way the river used to flow. When we misunderstand this law, we live in a state of anxiety and resistance. When we align with it, we find profound peace and power. Let me give you some examples here. Let's say the industry that you have worked in for 20 years is made obsolete by new technology. If you resist this change, you cling to a sinking ship, feeling victimized, bitter, and left behind. Now, if you embrace the law of change, you see this as not as an ending, but as a necessary clearing. It is the universe forcing you to evolve, to learn new skills, and to find a path that is more aligned with who you have become. The change is the catalyst for your rebirth. Let me give you another example. Let's say a long-term relationship ends. The identity you had as part of a couple is gone. Resistance looks like stalking social media, living in the past, and refusing to let go. Flowing with change looks like a grieving, yes, but then asking the pivotal question, who am I now? And what new possibilities does this new solo chapter hold? The change, as painful as it is, creates the space for a new version of you to emerge. Another example about aging, let's say. We fight it with every cream and procedure, but resisting the natural change of our bodies leads to a life of insecurity and denial. Embracing it means honoring the wisdom in our eyes, the stories in our lines, and shifting our focus from how we look to how we feel and what we can contribute. We trade the fear of decline for the grace of maturation. Mastering the law of change is about becoming like bamboo, firmly rooted, yet flexible enough to bend in the strongest wind without breaking. Here's your 3-step process for this surrender. First one, you have to acknowledge and accept it. When change arrives, wanted or unwanted, the first step is to drop the resistance. Stop saying, this shouldn't be happening. Instead, take a deep breath and state the reality. This is happening. I accept that this change is here. Accepting is not approval. It is simply acknowledging the truth of the present moment. You cannot navigate a storm you refuse to admit you are in. The second step here is to find a neutral ground. Change often triggers fear or excitement. To find wisdom, you must find a neutral observer within. So ask yourself, stripped of my emotional story, what is actually happening here? What are the plain facts? Then ask the alchemical question from the law of polarity. What is the hidden opportunity in this change? What is being made possible now that wasn't before? A door closing always makes a new one accessible. And the third step is you have to choose your conscious response. You cannot control the change, but you can always control your response to it, because this is your power. To surrender, some changes, unlike the weather, you cannot stop the rain, so you learn to dance in it. This is an active choice, to flow with the current, trusting it will lead you somewhere new. To pivot, other changes require you to consciously change direction. This is where you take the lessons from the change and use them to set a new, more intelligent course. Update your plan. Learn that new skill. Let go of that old identity. This is conscious evolution in action. The law of change is your liberator. It guarantees that no pain, no struggle, and no limitation is permanent. But it also reminds you to fully cherish the joyful moments, for they too are fleeting. This awareness makes life vibrant and precious. When you stop fighting the current, you can finally start steering the boat. You move from a victim of circumstance to the graceful navigator of your life's journey. You have learned the mechanics of the universe. You know how to think, vibrate, and act as a conscious creator. But there is a crucial gap between knowing these laws and living them. A space between your declaration and its manifestation. In that gap, there is often fear, doubt, and the temptation to revert to old ways. What carries you across that gap? What is the substance that turns intellectual understanding into lived reality? It is the most powerful creative force there is, and it is the subject of this law, the law of faith. The law of faith states, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Let's break down this profound statement. Most people think of faith as blind belief, a fragile hope in something that probably is not true. But that is not faith, that is wishful thinking. Faith is substance. It is not airy or abstract. In the realm of creation, faith is the very building block, the spiritual material from which your future reality is constructed. Your unwavering faith is the foundation upon which the universe builds your desired outcome. You do not need evidence to have faith, because faith is evidence. This is the most powerful part. You don't get the evidence after the manifestation. Your faith is the evidence. It is the proof in the present moment that what you desire is already on its way. It is the unwavering knowing in your heart that allows you to act as if it's already done, long before your physical senses can perceive it. Faith is the bridge that connects the world of your thoughts and vibrations, aka cause, to the world of tangible results, aka effect. Without the bridge, the connection collapses under the weight of your own doubt. Faith is not passive, it is the most active force in the universe. Let's see it in action. Let's say a farmer doesn't just hope a crop will grow, he has faith in the laws of nature. His faith is the substance. It is what compels him to take the tangible action of planting the precious seed into the earth. His faith is the evidence. It allows him to care for the field, to wait through storms and sun, knowing with certainty that the harvest is coming, even when all he sees is bare dirt. He doesn't dig up the seed every day to check on it. His faith lets him let go. Let's say an entrepreneur has a vision for a business. The evidence of the physical world might be an empty bank account and no customers. But this entrepreneur's faith is the substance. It is the business plan they write, the team they hire, the investment they attract. Their faith is the evidence. It is the unshakable feeling in their gut that this will work, which gives them the courage to make the leap and persist through every obstacle. Let's say someone is facing an illness and uses their faith as a substance of their healing. It is a powerful force that aligns their mind, body, and spirit toward wellness. Their faith is the evidence that allows them to feel healthy and whole now, to visualize their vitality, and to follow their treatment with positive expectation, even before the medical tests reflect the full improvement. So, how do you cultivate this powerful, substantial faith, especially when your logical mind is shouting doubts? You build your faith muscle with those 3 steps I'm going to tell you. First step, you have to build your faith portfolio. Faith is not blind. It is built on past evidence. Look back at your life. Create a list of times you hoped for something, took a leap, and it worked out. The times you survived something you thought you could not. The times a coincidence arrived at the perfect moment. This is your portfolio of proof that the universe is conspiring for you. And then review it daily. Step number 2 here, you have to speak the language of faith. Your words are powerful creators. Eliminate the language of doubt. I hope, I wish. It probably will not happen, and replace it with the language of faith. Instead of saying, well, I hope I get this job, say, I have faith that I am moving in the perfect position for me. Instead of saying, I wish I could heal, say, I have faith in my body's incredible ability to restore itself. This language programs your subconscious and solidifies the substance of your faith. Now, the third step is act as if. This is where faith becomes tangible. If you have faith that you are abundant, what does an abundant person do? They give generously, they invest in themselves, they act from a place of security. If you have faith that you are loved, you act with an open heart. Your actions are the physical proof of your spiritual faith. You are building the reality from the inside out, and your actions are the bricks and mortar. The law of faith is the final piece that makes all the other laws work consistently. It is the confident walk across the bridge from the known to the unknown. Your hand firmly held by the universe. You do not need faith when you can see the outcome. The power is in having faith before you see it. That is the essence of true creation. Remember, fear shouts but faith whispers. Your mission is to quiet the world and listen to the steady, unwavering voice of faith within, because this is your truest guide. You have learned to create, expand, and understand the consequences of your energy. But in this active dance of creation, there is one law that serves as the anchor for all others, the law that prevents burnout, overwhelm, and the extremes that drain your power. Look at nature. Day balances night, the inhale balances the exhale, the seasons flow in perfect harmony. The universe itself exists in a state of dynamic equilibrium, and so must you. This is the law of balance. The law of balance states for every force, there is an equal and opposite force. Lasting power and peace are found at the center point between all extremes. What that means, balance is not stagnation, it is dynamic harmony. Like a dancer who appears perfectly still while containing immense energy and potential for movement. It is a middle path between giving and receiving, action and rest, structure and flaw, masculine and feminine energies. Imbalance creates suffering. When we learn or when we lean too far in any direction, we lose our center and our effectiveness. Think of yourself as the fulcrum of a scale. Your power comes from maintaining equilibrium between all aspects of your life and being. Your body, emotions, and life circumstances constantly signal when you're out of balance. For example, the work-life imbalance, let's say. Let's say you work 80 hours per week, believing that success requires constant grinding. The imbalance manifests as burnout, health issues, and strained relationships. You're all masculine doing energy, with no feminine being energy. The correction isn't to stop working entirely, but to find the center point. Dedicated work hours balanced by quality rest and connection. Another example, if you spend hours meditating, but neglecting your finances and physical health, you are spiritually expanded, but materially chaotic. Meanwhile, if you're financially successful, but feel empty and disconnected, both are out of balance. True mastery requires honoring both spirit and matter. In relationships, balance appears as equal giving and receiving. When one person consistently gives more, resentment builds. When one consistently takes more, dependency grows. Healthy relationships dance around the center point. Sometimes giving more, sometimes receiving more, but always returning to equilibrium. Living in balance is a daily practice of awareness and adjustment. Here's a 3-step process for conscious centering. Step 1. Conduct a balance audit. Take stock of your life across key areas: work versus rest, giving versus receiving, planning versus flowing, social time versus solitude, mental activity versus physical movement, and rate each area from 1 to 10. Where are you leaning too far? This awareness is the first step toward correction. And the second step is when you notice yourself swinging too far in one direction, consciously apply the opposite energy. If you have been too structured, allow for spontaneous flow. If you have been giving too much, practice receiving gracefully. If you have been all mental, engage your body through movement. If you have been too serious, inject play and laughter. And the third step is create simple daily rituals that maintain your center. Morning centering. Give it 5 minutes of silence before checking your phone, and then consciously shift from work energy to home energy. And adjust your schedule based on your balance audit. Taking one conscious breath before responding or deciding. The law of balance is your protection against the exhaustion of extremes. It is what allows you to sustain your creative power without burning out. It is the difference between a flash in the pan and a steady, enduring flame. The most powerful position in any situation is the center point, where you can see all perspectives, access all your resources, and respond rather than react. Remember, the oak tree that bends with the wind survives the storm. The rigid one breaks. Your strength comes from your flexibility, your power from your balance. You have learned to create from a place of balance and understand the consequences of your energy. But there is one crucial question that affects every experience. Compared to what? Is the situation truly good or bad? Is an obstacle really large or small? The universe provides the answer through a law that gives context to everything. This law explains why the same event can be devastating to one person and trivial to another. It reveals that nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning we give it through comparison. This is the law of relativity. The law of relativity states nothing in the universe is good or bad, big or small, except in relation to something else. All things are neutral until viewed through the lens of comparison, which means there are no absolutes in a human experience, only relationships and comparisons. Your power lies in choosing your reference point. What you compare your situation to determines whether you feel blessed or cursed. Challenges are exactly the right size for your spiritual growth. The universe never gives you more than you can handle, relative to your current strength. Think of yourself as a photographer. You can choose to zoom in on a problem until it fills your entire frame, or you can zoom out and see it as a small part of a beautiful landscape. The object hasn't changed, only your perspective has. Your emotional experience of life is entirely determined by what you choose as your measuring stick. To someone rushing to an important meeting, a flat tire is a catastrophe that ruins their day. To someone who just received a clean bill of health after a cancer, that same flat rate is a minor inconvenience that they can handle with grace. The event is identical. The difference is in what they are comparing it to. Your emotional experience of life is entirely determined by what you choose as your measuring stick. A $500 unexpected bill feels enormous to someone living paycheck to paycheck, but manageable to someone with savings. A criticism from your boss feels devastating if it's your only source of validation, but insignificant if you have a strong sense of self worth from multiple areas of life. The problem size is relative to your resources and perspectives. When you begin learning a new skill, your progress seems slow compared to experts. This can be discouraging, but when you compare your current self to where you were a month ago, you see real growth. The same progress feels either inadequate or impressive, depending on your chosen reference points. So, how to apply this law? The law of relativity gives you the ultimate tool for emotional resilience, the ability to reframe any situation by consciously choosing your reference point. And here is your 3-step process. Step number 1, identify your current comparison. When you feel stressed, overwhelmed, or dissatisfied, ask yourself, what am I comparing this to? Are you comparing your beginning to someone else's middle? Are you comparing your reality to an impossible ideal? Or are you comparing your current challenge to a past easy period? Awareness of your unconscious comparisons is the first step to changing them. Step 2, consciously choose an empowering reference point. Deliberately shift your comparison to something that serves your peace and growth. Instead of comparing upward to people who have more, compare downward to those who have less. Instead of comparing to perfection, compare to your past self and acknowledge your growth. Instead of comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, compare it to your own chapter 0. View challenges as lessons perfectly sized for your current capacity for growth. And step 3, practice gratitude. Use relativity to amplify your appreciation for what you have. When frustrated with traffic, remember those who cannot afford a car. When stressed about work, remember those who are unemployed. When annoyed by minor physical discomfort, remember those with chronic pain. This is not about minimizing your feelings, but about gaining perspective that allows you to handle challenges with more grace and less suffering. The law of relativity is your liberation from emotional slavery to circumstances. When you understand that nothing has inherent meaning, you become free to assign meanings that empower you rather than diminish you. Your problems are never as big as they seem when you are in the middle of them. Your blessings are always more abundant than you recognize until you consciously look for them. Remember, the same water that softens the potato hardens the egg. It is not about the circumstances, it is about what you are made of and what you compare it to. You have learned to think as a creator. You understand vibration. You have cultivated faith and you see through the lens of relativity. But there is one law that separates the dreamers from the manifestors, the wishers from the creators. It is a law that turns invisible energy into visible results. This is the law that builds the bridge between the world of your thoughts and the world of your experience. Without it, even the most brilliant vision remains a fantasy. This is the law of action. The law of action states, for dreams to manifest in the physical realm, aligned physical action must be taken. Thought and intention create the blueprint. Action builds the house. This means action is the translator that converts spiritual energy into physical reality. It is a necessary complement to the law of attraction. You cannot attract what you are not moving toward. Aligned action is action that feels in harmony with your vision, not forced or struggle based. Think of yourself as a gardener. You can have the most beautiful vision of a garden, purchase the best seeds, and believe completely in their potential. But if you never actually plant them in the soil, you will never see flowers. Action is the planting. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is always filled with action, or the lack of it. Let's say you have a brilliant business idea. You visualize success, create vision boards, and tell everyone about your future company. But you never register the company. You never create a product. You never make a sale call. Your dream remains exactly that, a dream. Meanwhile, someone else with a similar idea takes imperfect action daily. Prototype, tests, fails, adjusts. Within a year, that person has a functioning business. The difference is not the idea, it is the action. Let's say someone want to lose 50 pounds. This person reads every diet book, joins online forums, imagine themselves fit and healthy, but that person never changes his eating habits or starts exercising. Their desire for change is real, but without action, their body remains unchanged. So when that person finally starts taking daily walk and making healthier food choices, this is where transformation begins. Most of people dream of a soulmate connection. So let's say you're meditating on it. You write list of qualities, but you never put yourself in situation to meet a new people. You never tried dating apps. You never work on becoming the kind of partner you want to attract. So your soulmate becomes a fantasy until you take the action to show up in the world as available and open. Mastering the law of action is not about frantic busyness. It is about consistent, aligned movement toward your vision. Here are your 3-step process. Step 1, bridge the gap with the next step. Overwhelm often comes from looking at the entire journey. Instead, ask, what is the very next physical action I can take toward my goal? You want to write a book? Write 1 paragraph today. You want to start a business? Research business names for 15 minutes. You want to get fit? Take a 10-minute walk. Massive action comes from consistent small steps. And step 2, learn to distinguish between inspired and forced action. Inspired action feels flowing, timely, effortlessly. It comes with energy and clarity. But forced action feels like pushing, struggling, coming from anxiety or shoulds. Trust the nudge of inspiration when it comes. The universe often guides you through intuitive impulses to act. And the 3rd step is to embrace that loop. Action creates feedback, which creates wisdom, which creates better action. Take action, notice the results, adjust your approach, and then take a new action. Don't wait for perfect conditions or perfect knowledge. Start where you are with what you have. The path becomes clear as you walk it. The law of action is what makes you a co-creator with the universe rather than a passive observer of your life. It is the sacred partnership between your inner world and your outer world. Dreams do not work unless you do. Prayer does not build unless you pick up the hammer. Visualization does not manifest unless you take the steps. The universe loves speed, not frantic rushing, but swiftness of trusting your intuition and taking the next obvious step. Don't just think about it, do about it. After exploring all these powerful universal laws, we now come to the foundation upon which every other law is built. The first law, the prime law. The law that makes all the others possible. This law reveals the great illusion of separation. The belief that you are alone, that others are separate from you, that the world is outside of you. And today, we pierce through that illusion and remember the deepest truth of your existence. This is the law of divine oneness. The law of divine oneness states we are all interconnected through a unified field of divine consciousness. Everything and everyone is part of the same whole, and separation is merely an illusion of the physical senses. Which that means there is only one consciousness experiencing itself through countless individual perspectives. The divine essence that flows through you flows through every person, animal, plant, and star. When you help another, you are ultimately helping yourself. When you harm another, you harm yourself. Your thoughts and emotions ripple through this unified field, affecting the whole. Think of the universe as a vast ocean. We are not separate drops of water, but temporary waves appearing on the surface of the same infinite ocean. Different in form, but one in essence. Once you understand this law, you begin to see evidence of this fundamental connection everywhere in your life. When you perform an act of genuine kindness for a stranger, you often feel a lift in your own spirit. This isn't just psychology, it is physics. You have sent a vibration of love into the unified field. And because you are connected to that field, you feel the return. The joy you give is the joy you experience. Have you ever thought of someone you have not spoken to in years, only to have them call you moments later? Or learned about a new concept, then suddenly started seeing it everywhere. This is the law of oneness, demonstrating how we are all tapped into the same field of information and possibility. The air you exhale is inhaled by plants. The oxygen they release becomes your next breath. The water you drink has flowed through rivers, oceans, and countless other beings before reaching you. There is no outside environment. You are in constant exchange with the living body of the earth. Understanding oneness intellectually is one thing. Living from the awareness transforms everything. Here is your 3-step process for embodying unity. Step 1. Practice seeing the self in others. In every interaction, silently acknowledge the consciousness in me recognizes and honors the same consciousness in you. When someone irritates you, remember they are another version of you on their own unique journey. When you see someone suffering, respond as if it were your own pain. When you witness great beauty or achievement in another, celebrate it as your own. Now, most people don't do that. Step 2, become a conscious conduit for divine energy. Several times daily, pause and feel yourself as a vessel through which divine love flows to the world. A bridge between the visible and the invisible realms. Your simple awareness of this role makes you a more clear channel for positive energy to flow through you to all. Step 3, understand that your every thought, word, and action sends ripples through the unified field. Choose thoughts that heal rather than harm the collective consciousness. Speak words that build up rather than tear down the human family. Take actions that contribute to the well-being of the whole. As you raise your vibration, you literally help raise the vibration of humanity. The law of divine oneness is the ultimate homecoming. It is the remembering that you have never been and could never be separate from the source of all life. You are not a lonely island, but a unique and essential note in the grand symphony of existence. All spiritual paths, all healing, all true fulfillment comes from living this truth. The peace you seek is the world most first be founded in recognition that the world is you. Remember, you are the universe experiencing itself in a human form. The love you give to others is the love you give to yourself. The healing you offer the world is your own healing. The law that governs all of creation itself. It is the secret behind every act of manifestation, every burst of inspiration, and every lasting structure in the universe. This is the law of gender, and it reveals that the ultimate creative power lies in a sacred union that exists within you right now. The law of gender states, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Now, let's be perfectly clear. This has nothing to do with biological sex or personal identity. We are talking about universal, energetic principles that exist within all people and all of creation. The masculine principle is the energy of action, focus, and direction, logic, structure, and linearity. The outgoing, projective force. Think of it like as the arrow. The feminine principle is the energy of receptivity, creativity, and intuition, nurturing the flow and potential. The magnetic, attracting force. Think of it as the vessel. Creation in the physical universe cannot happen without both. To build a house, the masculine, you need the idea, the blueprint, and space to build it, which is the feminine. and the focused action to bring it into the world. Again, masculine. When these principles are out of balance within us, our creative process feels broken. For example, I'm going to give an example about over masculinized. The relentless hustler who is always doing but never stops to ask why. They have the arrow, but there's no target. They burn out, feeling empty and disconnected from their purpose. Their creativity is stifled because they are not making space to receive inspiration. Another example about over feminized. The eternal visionary who has a journal full of beautiful ideas but never takes the first step. They have the vessel, but never pour the contents out into the world. They feel frustrated, manifesting only fantasies because they are not using the arrow of focused action to ground their dreams. Imagine an entrepreneur. The feminine principle receives the intuitive aha idea and nurture it into the womb of the mind, feeling into the vision with excitement. Then the masculine principle kicks in, creating a business plan, setting deadlines, and taking disciplined action. The feminine then waits receptively for opportunities to appear, and the masculine acts upon them. This is the dance of creation. Mastering this law is about performing the inner marriage, balancing and uniting these two powerful forces within yourself. So this is here your 3-step process. Step 1, diagnose your imbalance. Get honest with yourself. Where do you tend to get stuck? Are you a perpetual dreamer who struggles with execution? Then you need to strengthen your inner masculine. Are you a relentless doer who feels creativity dry? Then you need to cultivate your inner feminine. Your feeling of stuckness is a direct signal of which principle is being neglected. Then here, with a step 2, you have to cultivate the weakened principle. To cultivate your inner feminine, which is the vessel, you have to practice receptivity. This means meditation, daydreaming, spending time in nature, journaling without a goal, and trusting your intuition. It is about being instead of doing. Ask yourself, what is my intuition telling me? Before you decide what to do. Now, to cultivate your inner masculine, which is the arrow, you have to practice focused action. This means setting a clear, specific goals, creating deadlines, maintaining boundaries, and following through with discipline. It is about taking the dream and giving it a structure. So ask yourself, what is the one specific action I can take today to move this forward? And the third and last step, for any goal, consciously move through the cycle. The feminine phase receives. Sit in stillness. Allow the idea, the vision, the what to come to you. Nurture it with your imagination. Feel the joy of it as if it's already real. And the masculine phase is to act. Take the vision and create a plan. The how. Execute the first step with unwavering focus and protection of your time and energy. And then return to the feminine again, to surrender. After you have taken action, release the obsessive need to control the outcome. Be receptive to feedback, divine timing, and new opportunities. Then repeat the cycle. The law of gender is the final key. It teaches us that we are not just creators, we are co-creators with the universe itself. We provide the focus, intention, and the universe provides the infinite field of possibilities. The marriage within creates the magic without. You have learned to create, to have faith, to navigate change. But now we come to a law that addresses the very heartbeat of existence itself. Look at nature. A seed doesn't stay a seed. It pushes through the soil, reaches for the sun, and becomes a tree. The universe itself is not static. It is constantly stretching, growing and evolving. This isn't just something that happens around you. This impulse is coded into your DNA. The desire for more joy, more love, more abundance, more experience is not greed. It is the universe expressing itself through you. This is the law of expansion. The law of expansion states the universe and everything in it is continuously evolving, growing, and expanding in consciousness and capacity. This means that stagnation is an illusion. You are either actively expanding and moving toward your potential, or you are contracting, which ultimately leads to frustration, anxiety, and a feeling of being stuck. Expansion is not just about getting more things, it is about becoming more you. It is the growth of your consciousness, the deepening of your wisdom, the broadening of your capacity to give and receive love, and the increase in your ability to make a meaningful impact. This law works hand in hand with the law of vibration. As you expand, your vibrational frequency naturally rises, attracting more expansive experiences and opportunities. Think of yourself as a vessel. The law of expansion is a process of you becoming a larger, more capable vessel, able to hold and channel more abundance, more joy, and more life. Your soul uses the catalyst of discomfort to signal that it's time to expand. Let's say you have a good job, a comfortable salary, but you feel a nagging sense of, is this all there is? This isn't ingratitude, it is the law of expansion. Your soul has outgrown the container of your current role. The frustration is the pressure inside the seed, pushing it to break its shell and reach for a new level of impact and fulfillment. A relationship that once felt fulfilling now feels constricting. The same conversations, the same routines, the same dynamics. This tension is often a call for relational expansion, a call to deepen intimacy, improve communication, and co create a new, more evolved chapter together. If one partner refuses to expand, guess what happens? Container breaks. Let's say you have been practicing the same spiritual routines, reading the same type of books, and having the same insights. Then you hit a wall. This is not a failure. It is the universe inviting you to expand your spiritual understanding, to question old beliefs, and to embrace a new, more personal and profound connection with the divine. The comfort zone becomes the prison zone. To align with the law of expansion is to become a conscious participant in your own evolution. It requires courage. But the reward is a life of vibrant aliveness. Here's a 3-step process for conscious evolution. The first one is identify your expansion edge. Where in your life are you feeling the most discomfort? Relentless or gentle tug. That is your expansion edge, the frontier of your current growth. It might be in your career, a relationship, your health, or your personal development. So ask yourself, what area of my life is asking me to become a bigger version of myself? Step 2, stretch your capacity. Growth happens just beyond the edge of your comfort zone. To expand mentally, consume information that challenges your current worldview. Have conversations with people who think differently than you. To expand emotionally, practice allowing and processing uncomfortable emotions like vulnerability and fear rather than numbing them. To expand in your skills, deliberately practice something you are not yet good at. Embrace being a beginner. To expand your abundance, practice giving and receiving in larger amounts than feels comfortable. This signals to the universe that your vessel is expanding. And the third step is to release the old container. You cannot pour the energy of your expanded self back into the old container. This is the stage of release. This might mean releasing an old identity. I am not good with money. That's for example. It might mean releasing habits, relationships, or jobs that are no longer in alignment with the expanding you. This is not a loss, it is a making space for the new, larger reality you are calling in. But you have to trust the process of release. The law of expansion is an invitation to a lifelong, exhilarating adventure. There is no final destination where you are done growing. The joy is in the journey itself, in the constant becoming. The universe is infinitely abundant, and so is your potential. There is no ceiling on how much love you can feel, how much joy you can experience, or how much you can contribute. Remember, you are not a stagnant pond. You are a river, destined to flow, to carve a new path, and to expand into the ocean of your infinite potentials. We now come to one of the most misunderstood, yet most fundamental laws of creation. Look at nature. A single apple tree produces enough seeds to plant an entire orchard. The sun gives its energy freely and endlessly. The universe operates not from lack, but from overwhelming, extravagant generosity. Yet, so many of us live with a quiet underlying anxiety that there won't be enough money, enough time, enough love, enough opportunities. This feeling contracts our world and limits our potential. Today, we shatter that myth and step into the truth of infinite supply. This is the law of abundance. The law of abundance states the universe possesses and provides an infinite supply of all resources, both tangible and intangible, for all who are in alignment to receive it. Let's be clear about what this means. Abundance is not just about money, it is vibrant health, meaningful relationships, creative ideas, joy, peace, and time. It is a state of being. The supply is infinite, but your reception of it is limited only by your capacity to believe in it, align with it, and hold it. Think of the sun again. It's always shining. But if you close the blinds, you sit in darkness. The problem is never the supply. It is the closed blinds of your perception. This law works directly with the law of a vibration. Abundance is a high-frequency state of gratitude, trust, and joy. Scarcity is a low-frequency state of fear, worry, and lack. Guess what? You attract what you are. Your reality is a perfect mirror of your dominant mindset about supply. Let's say someone with a scarcity mindset believes the market is a fixed pie. If a competitor gets a bigger slice, there's less for them. They operate from fear. They become secretive and see others as threats. Now, someone with an abundance mindset knows the universe can bake a million more pies. They collaborate, share ideas, and celebrate others' success, knowing that innovation and opportunity are limitless. Their expansive energy attracts more clients and partnerships. Imagine someone who clutches every dollar, spending with guilt and worrying constantly about bills. This fearful, constricted energy repels money. It cannot flow to a closed fist. Now, imagine someone who pays their bills with gratitude for the services rendered, tips generously, and invests in their growth. This energy of grateful circulation tells the universe, I am a wise and willing conduit for abundance, and more flow is granted. Another example, let's say a person with a scarcity mindset in relationships might become jealous, possessive, fearing there isn't enough love to go around. This very energy suffocates love. Now, a person with abundance mindset knows love is infinite. They give love freely, trust their partner, and nurture their own wholeness. This secure, expansive energy makes them a magnet for deep, authentic connection. To live the law of abundance is to become a conscious conduit for the universe's infinite flow. It is not about getting more, it is about being more open, grateful, and trusting. So here is your 3 process step. Step number 1, audit and shift your language. Your words are powerful spells. For 1 week, become a detective of your own speech. Eliminate the vocabulary of lack. Instead of I cannot afford it, say, how can I afford it? Or I choose to invest my resources differently right now. Instead of saying, there's never enough time, say, I am effortlessly prioritizing my time on what matters most. Instead of I don't have enough, state what you do have with gratitude. This shifts your vibration from lack to appreciation. Abundance must flow to grow. This is a universal law. With money, give a small amount away, consciously and joyfully, to a cause or a person you believe in. Do not give until it hurts. Give until it feels good. This action declares your faith in infinite supply. With love, express appreciation and affection freely. With knowledge, share your insights and help others without expectation. And with time, give someone your full undivided attention. Circulation creates a vacuum that the universe rushes to fill. And lastly, act as if you are already a magnet for abundance. This is where faith meets action. If you knew with certainty that the universe was endlessly providing for you, how would you walk? How would you talk? How would you make decisions? You would move with a deep sense of trust and security. You would invest in yourself. You would say yes to opportunities. You would rest without guilt. Embody the feeling of abundance now, and your reality will have no choice but to match it. The law of abundance is not a secret technique for getting rich. It is a fundamental reorientation of your soul towards the true nature of reality. You are not a beggar in a barren universe. You are the beloved child of an infinitely creative and generous source. Your birthright is prosperity in every area of your life. Your only task is to open the blinds, unclench your fist, and allow the light to pour in. And remember, the universe is a sea of infinite potential. Your grateful, open heart is the cup you dip into it. How big is your cup? You have learned to create, to expand, and to receive abundance. But how does the universe ensure balance in this grand system of creation? What governs the return, the consequence, the perfect justice that underpins all existence? This brings us to perhaps the most widely known, yet often misunderstood universal law. It is not a system of punishment, but a perfect education. This is the law of karma, the cosmic law of cause and effect that applies to our thoughts, words, and actions. The law of karma states every action, thought, and intention generates a corresponding energy that returns to its source in kind. So let's clarify what that truly means. Karma is not fate or predestination. It is the cosmic principle of action and reaction. You are not being punished by karma. You are experiencing the natural consequences of your own energy output. It operates across lifetimes, but also in the here and now. The energy you put out today is shaping your tomorrow. It is deeply personal and precise. The energy you emit, whether through thoughts, word, or deed, must complete its cycle and return to you. This isn't about judgment. I'm talking pure physics. Think of it as the universe's most sophisticated ecosystem. What you should into the canyon of existence will inevitably return to you, sometimes amplified, always accurate. Karma is not some distant abstract concept. It is operating in your life right now, or in ways both subtle and profound. Let's say This person consistently takes credit for their team's work, operating from selfish ambition. The karmic return is not necessarily immediate termination. It manifests as eroded trust. It manifests as lack of a genuine support when they need it, or when that person needs it, and a reputation that limits this person's advancement. Meanwhile, another person who mentors, let's say, junior colleagues and shares credit generously builds a network of loyalty and support that consistently creates new opportunities. The karmic return is his generosity. Karma is not the punishment, it's what you do. Let's say you wake up thinking, this is going to be a terrible day. This thought is a karmic seed. It colors your perception, making you abrupt with the barista, which puts you in a worse mood, causing you to miss a key detail at work, creating the very terrible day you anticipated. The initial negative thought was the cause. The stressful day is the effect. Conversely, starting the day with gratitude sets a positive karmic cycle in motion. A parent who operates from a place of deep insecurity and control. That is a cause, right? Often raises children who either become controllers themselves or struggle with crippling self-doubt, which is the effect. This is karmic energy passing through family systems. Breaking such a cycle is a powerful act of karmic transformation. And this is what we say, breaking generational karma. Understanding karma is not about fear of retribution. It is about embracing your power as a conscious creator of your destiny. Here is your 3-step process for conscious karma creation. Step 1. Mindful pause before you act or you speak. In moments of decision, especially emotional ones, institute a karmic pause. Ask yourself this very powerful question. What energy am I about to put into the world, and what kind of return would this bring? This moment of awareness is the birthplace of positive karma. Step 2. Purify your intentions. Karma is not just about the action, it is about the intention behind it. Giving a gift with strings attached creates a different karmic result than giving freely from the heart. Offering help to make yourself look good is different than offering help from genuine compassion. Monitor your why. Pure intention creates the most powerful positive karma. And step 3 is to practice karmic hygiene. Your karmic account is active every moment. Make regular deposits of positive energy. For past karma, practice forgiveness, both for others and yourself. Holding resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to get sick. Release it. Make amends where appropriate. For present karma, engage in selfless service. Help without expectation of reward. This creates powerful positive karma. And for future karma, set a clear intention each morning to be a source of kindness, honesty, and compassion. Your conscious intentions become your karmic destiny. The ultimate goal of understanding karma is not to navigate a system of reward and punishment, but to achieve liberation, freedom from the compulsive cycles of actions and rejection. When you act from a place of conscious awareness and pure intention, you step out of karmic debt and into karmic grace. You are not a victim of your karma. You are the author. Every moment is a new opportunity to plant seeds for a beautiful future. And remember, the universe does not send you lessons. Your own energy returns to you as your greatest teacher. So ask yourself, what will you learn today? You have understood the fundamental unity of all things and mastered the laws of creation. But there is one more essential law to grasp, the law that explains why you feel that inner restlessness, that quiet voice urging you to become more, do more, be more. This is not random ambition, it is the universe itself expressing through you. This is the impulse that drives the acorn to become the oak, the caterpillar to become the butterfly, and your soul to continually evolve. This is the law of progression. The law of progression states the entire universe is moving forward in an upward spiral of evolution. Everything is either growing or dying. Stagnation is an illusion that masks gradual decay. This means evolution is not optional, it is built into the fabric of existence. Progress follows a spiral path. We often revisit similar lessons at higher levels of understanding. Your discomfort with stagnation is spiritual intelligence. Your soul recognizing when you're not aligned with cosmic law. Growth happens in all dimensions: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. Think of yourself as a river. You cannot stop moving forward without becoming stagnant. The choice isn't whether to progress, but whether to flow consciously with the current or to resist and create suffering. The universe is always inviting you to your next level of evolution, though the invitation doesn't always come in the packaging you'd prefer. For example, let's say someone's working at a corporate job, felt that they're feeling secure, but soul crashing. When that person was, let's say, unexpectedly laid off, they will experience it as a devastating failure. But this crisis forced them to develop new skills, confront fears, and eventually build their own business doing the work that they love. What felt like a setback was actually progression in disguise, the universe pushing them towards their true path. Let's say you keep attracting the same type of emotionally unavailable partner. Each relationship felt painfully familiar. Rather than being random bad luck, this was the law of progression, inviting you to heal childhood wounds and develop new standards. Each failed relationship brought you closer to the self awareness needed for healthy love. Alignment with the law of progression means becoming a conscious participant in your own evolution. Here is your 3-step process. First one, embrace the evolutionary impulse. When you feel restless, dissatisfied, or yearning for something more, don't pathologize it, but ask, what is this feeling inviting me to become? What next level is my soul calling me toward? See discomfort as guidance, not dysfunction. Trust that the universe only calls you toward growth you are ready for, and recognize that the pain of staying the same must eventually exceed the fear of changing. Step 2, implement the 1% rule. Massive transformation comes from small, consistent steps. So each day, ask yourself, what one small action can I take today that moves me forward? Focus on 1% improvement daily in key areas of your life. Track your spiral progress. Notice how you handle familiar challenges with more wisdom each time. And the last one, progress accelerates in the right conditions. Curate your inputs: books, conversations, media that stimulate growth. Find growth companions, people who challenge and inspire you. And design your spaces, environments that support your evolution. Schedule growth time, protected time for learning and development. The law of progression is your cosmic permission slip to keep growing, evolving, and becoming. Your restlessness is not a flaw, it is your soul remembering its infinite potential. Your dissatisfaction is not ingratitude, it is your divine nature calling you home to your true self. You are not meant to stay where you are. Think what you have always thought, or be who you have always been. You are designed to evolve. Remember, the universe is not interested in your comfort. It is interested in your expansion. Your job is to cooperate with the magnificent, unstoppable force of evolution that you are. You have learned to think as a creator and understand the fundamental laws of the universe. But there is one law that has captured the imagination of millions, a law so powerful it can seem like magic when properly understood. This is the law that explains why you keep encountering certain patterns, why some people seem lucky, and why your deepest desires sometimes feel just out of reach. This is the master key that unlocks your innate creative power. This is the law of attraction. The law of attraction states, like energy attracts like energy. Your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and feelings act as a magnetic force, drawing matching people, circumstances, and experiences into your physical reality. This means the universe is a cosmic mirror. It can only reflect back to you what you are broadcasting. Your vibration is your order to the universe, not your words, not your wishes, but your genuine energetic frequency. This is not magic, it is quantum physics and universal law working in perfect harmony. You are always attracting, whether consciously or subconsciously. Think of yourself as a human radio tower, constantly broadcasting a signal on a specific frequency. The universe is simply delivering to you whatever matches that frequency. Once you understand this law, you will see it operating everywhere in your life, both in what you want and what you don't want. Let's say someone starts their business vibrating with excitement, possibility, and certainty that clients will come. The person sees challenges as temporary and focuses on their solutions. They literally feel successful before they really are. This high, clear vibration acts as a magnet for perfect clients, supportive partnerships, and unexpected opportunities. Their outer world has no choice but to match their inner world. You worry constantly about money, checking your bank account with anxiety, expecting bills to be higher than expected, talking about how expensive everything is. You're focusing on what you do not want, right? But the universe only hears the vibration of lack and fear. So it delivers more situations that make you feel lacking and fearful. The specific content does not matter. The vibration of lack attracts more lack. If you keep attracting emotionally unavailable partner, even though you say, I want commitment, and your vibration is fear of being hurt, unworthiness, or suspicion, the universe will respond to your dominant vibration of unavailable energy and mirrors it back through the people you attract. So when you heal your core wounds and vibrate self-love and worthiness, the pattern breaks automatically. Mastering the law of attraction means moving from being an unconscious victim of your vibration to being a deliberate creator of them. Here's your 3 steps process. First one, you have to become a vibration detective. For 1 week, monitor your emotional state constantly and ask yourself, what am I attracting right now with this feeling? If I were the universe, what would I send someone feeling this way? Is this vibration aligned with what I say I want? Awareness is the first and the most crucial step. You cannot change what you do not notice. Step 2 is to practice deliberate focus. Your energy flows where your attention goes. I bet you heard that line millions of times. Most people focus on what they do not want. Your job is to flip this. Instead of I do not want to be broke, focus on I am enjoying financial freedom and abundance. Instead of I do not want to be alone, focus on I am experiencing loving, connected relationships. And instead of I don't want this job, focus on I am doing work I love that fulfills me. Feeling the feeling of your desire as if it's already fulfilled is key. The third step is you need to close the vibration gap. This is the most important step. The gap is the difference between what you say you want and how you actually feel. If you want wealth, but feel poor, you are vibrating poverty. If you want love but feel unworthy, you are vibrating unworthiness. If you want health but feel sick, you are vibrating sickness. Your work is to feel the feelings of your desired reality right now. Act as if, think as if, speak as if. This closes the gap and allows manifestations. The law of attraction is not about getting what you want. It is about becoming the version of you that already has it. The universe is not responding to your wishes. It is responding to your being. When you change your vibration, you change your life. It is that simple and that challenging. It requires constant vigilance and radical self-honesty. Remember, you are not waiting for your dreams to come true. Your dreams are waiting for you to vibrate at their frequency. You have learned to attract, to create, and to manifest. But what does the energy that does not serve you? The anger, the fear, the anxiety that arise in human experience. Most people try to suppress these energies or wait for them to pass. But what if I told you there's a way to not just manage these energies, but to transform them into your greatest power? This is the master skill that turns lead into gold, fear into fuel, and challenges into catalysts. This is the law of energy transmutation. The law of energy transmutation states all energy is neutral and mutable. Any energy, regardless of its initial form or frequency, can be consciously transformed into a higher expression and used for creative purposes. What that means is energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. There's no such thing as negative energy, only energy that has not been consciously directed. You are the alchemist of your own emotional and spiritual state. Transmutation is not suppression, it is conscious redirection and elevation. Think of yourself as a master chemist in the laboratory of your own being. You have the power to take the raw materials of your emotional experiences and transform them into the gold of wisdom, compassion, and creative power. Every master in any field understands this law intuitively, whether they call it that or not. Let's say an Olympic diver stands on the platform. Their heart is racing, adrenaline surging. This is the same psychological response as fear. A novice might be paralyzed by it. The master athlete acknowledges the energy, breathes into it, and transmutes it into focused power and precision. The same energy, consciously directed, becomes championship performance. Transmutation is a practical, learnable skill. Here is your 3-step process. The first one is to always recognize and welcome the energy. When strong emotion or sensation arises, name it precisely. This is frustration in my chest. This is anxious energy in my stomach. Feel it fully in your body without judgment or story. Thank it for the information and life force it's bringing you. And then get curious. Where do I feel this in my body? What color is it? What texture? Resistance strengthens energy. Acceptance gives you power over it. Second step is to identify the pure life force. Look beneath the story to the raw energy. Anger is often passionate life force that wants change or boundaries. Fear is often heightened awareness that wants protection or preparation. Anxiety is often creative energy that wants expression or direction. Sadness is often deep caring that wants acknowledgement. Separate the pure energy from the conditional reaction and mental story. Step 3. Choose a higher expression for the same life force. Transmute anxiety into excited anticipation. Both are energy of what's next. Transmute anger into determined action. Both are powerful, forwarding, moving energy. Transmute fear into focused awareness. Both heighten your senses. Transmute grief into deeper presence, because both connects us to what matters most. And transmute jealousy into inspired action, because both recognize value you want to embody. There are some practical tools for transmutation. The first one is breath work. Use sharp exhales to release stuck energy. Move, dance, shake, or walk to move energy through your body. You can hum, chant, vibrate energy at new frequencies. You can write, draw, play music to channel energy. The law of energy transmutation is the ultimate spiritual technology. It means you never need to fear any emotion or experience again. Everything that comes to you is raw material for your evolution. The same fire that burns down the forest can cook your food and warm your home. The difference is in how it's contained and directed. You are the container and the director of your inner life. Remember, the master doesn't have different emotions than the student. The master has a different relationship with those emotions. And here we are. You have journeyed through the fundamental laws that shape our reality, from the mental nature of existence to the alchemical power you hold within. You now understand that you are not a passive observer in your life, but an active conscious creator. Your thoughts set the stage. The mentalism, the law of mentalism. Your energy calls the music, law of vibration. And your actions brings the dance to life, law of action. When you embrace change, law of change, and trust in the process, law of faith, you expand into your fullest potential, law of expansion, creating a life of abundance, law of abundance, and balance, law of balance. Remember, mastery is about practice. It is about returning to these principles again and again, especially when life feels challenging. Each moment is a new opportunity to choose your thoughts, direct your energy, and take aligned action.